and welcome to the Gist on the Nigerian Television Authority. My name is Folashade Famakiwa, your host for the show. On the Gist today, I'll be looking at with my guest, and I will get to introduce you to her in the course of the program. But first, let me introduce the topic to you. We're looking at the strategies to keep students, kids busy during the summer holidays. And my guest in the house is Mrs. Stella Ikoku Nathaniel. Welcome here once more. All right. So she is the CEO of Precious Metal Empowerment Center. And like I said earlier, the topic is a very interesting one. The summer holiday is the longest in the academic calendar in Nigeria. So what are the strategies that one can use to keep them busy, the students on holiday?
Okay. Well, the common thing parents do these days is just to push them off to extra lessons, which to me is just like an appendage or an extension of their regular school programs. But there are other activities they could be engaged with, that could also come up as extracurricular activities that can expand their learning and expose them to other aspects of building their intelligence quotient. Now, there are a lot of credible organizations out there who are organizing summer boot camps. Children can be enrolled in such programs. And they can also, this could be a time to take them away from the regular phone.
Okay.
They could,
I'm guilty about that.
Yeah, introduce them to book readings, and at the end of the day, get them to tell the story, depending on their age bracket, actually. Then there are also these programs on coding, AI coding, that are age specific. You have the one for children from like 5 to 10. You have for the teenagers, and then, that way. There are age specific IT programs like that. They can also learn to volunteer. For those of them who are a bit of age, volunteer in organizations. Now the concept kids have now is more like, what is in it for me? If I should do anything for you, but this having that spirit of volunteerism where you learn your new skills that could actually predispose you to job opportunities even after you're done with school, or also while you're schooling. There's another opportunity out there for them. You can also get them to learn crafts. Or other skills like, tailoring.
What they really love to do.
Practical skills. Because these days, it's not just about the white collar jobs. They are not there anymore. So by the time they finish and graduate from school, they should be able to have a skill with which they could be earning, little things that will keep them busy. So these are some of the things I think they can be exposed to.
All the things you mentioned, they are very interesting. But let's look at the economy of Nigeria. Very challenging. And like I went to my children's school some days back. I went to buy their books and just heard the proprietor asking, you didn't bring your children for summer class? Most parents were like, no money. So how will parents be able to enroll their children for the coding? I know it's not free.
Okay.
How will they be able to put their children to learn craft? It's not free. Everything has to do with money. So
now sometimes we also have exceptions to the rules. Like I'm very conversant with the development field. There are some NGOs who organize these things because we're trying to target them young. We're trying to keep them busy. So you don't really get to pay. These people source for funds. They have the funds already. They're just trying to see how they can, help the society, relieve the parents, while also giving the children some positive learnings. So it's just about exploring, trying to find out, and they are all around us.
It's just getting the right information.
Exactly, information is key. Yes, these ones don't demand a thing.
Even some churches and religious houses.
So they don't demand anything from the parents. They just have this passion to keep the children occupied. Even the extra lessons that we're talking about, they have to pay.
Yes.
Even though it's not much. I had the parents, expressing her view. I was like, 5,000 naira.
They're looking at the transportation, taking them to and fro.
Exactly.
Then the feeding.
They have to take something along. Too. But for these other organizations, I tell you, they make provisions for those things. Yes. It's just about exploring
Wow.
and
And
getting
getting
the
the
right
right
information.
information.
Exactly.
Okay, so looking at the security challenges of Nigeria now, when I was growing up, nobody was scared of going to a neighbor's house
Exactly.
to play, to learn
Exactly.
things. But now, who do you entrust your kids to?
Exactly. That's why, sometimes when you explore some books or
Mhm.
check the internet, you see visitations
Mhm.
going for holidays.
Mm.
I don't
Boot
subscribe.
camps.
I don't subscribe. Boot camps are safe
Okay,
actually
depending on the
because
organizers.
the credible organizers will put modalities in place to ensure that those children are checked. They actually have house masters and house mistresses
Okay.
that guide them. But that of visiting
Relative.
relatives, even no, relatives are kind of far off.
Okay.
Even family members,
Wow.
you just don't feel safe, especially.
Anymore.
It's not just about the girl child these days.
Mhm.
Even the boys are also exploited. So that's why for me, that is no, that could have been where
In
before
time
now,
past.
but not any longer. And in a situation where um, such a parent doesn't have the right information, don't have the funds, they can also subscribe to using that opportunity to bond with the children.
Okay.
Whatever it is you're doing, take the children along with you.
Mm.
That's the time for
Okay.
you to get to draw out what is on their mind. That's the time for you to get to know what has been happening all the while they were in school. While they were in school, it was only the teachers who were saddled with that responsibility. And now is the time they have with you. Explore it. Get history with them. Let them get to learn so many things they never had the opportunity to do with you because 7 o'clock they have to be in school.
Mm-hmm. While they
They
are back, they're
close.
already
There's an
tired.
extra lesson. There's an extra lesson, and they're coming back with homework.
Mm.
By the time you're done with the homework, it's bedtime. So you don't really get to have time out with your kids. That's another way that is not um it's not demanding financially. Whatever it is you do, take the child along. Most of the establishments where we work now are child friendly.
Very
They let you bring those kids, especially during the holidays, for as long as you can manage them. So that's
But
perfectly
the thing
reasonable.
is, for some working class, like I have kids, and by the time I bring them here, I get distracted.
Exactly.
And when your boss is saying that too often, it becomes something else.
Mhm.
So how do people like that cope?
So that's where it's basically that's basically the situation with women.
Mm. Yes.
And that's where
Yes.
I subscribe to the children's lullaby. Mommy is an angel.
Hmm. That's
You
true.
just have to bring out that your superhuman form. Bring it to play. What I do is I have an agreement with them. We'll have a little chit chat at home. What are you going to do while I'll be at work for you not to distract mommy? That is when mommy gets her pay.
Hmm.
That is, and when she gets the pay, she takes care of your demands, whatever you want.
Mhm.
So what do we do? It becomes a discussion. So you see them bringing ideas. Okay, I'll take my book. I'll read this. I'll do that. Or okay, after a while, I can take a nap but there will be that agreement that distractions will be
And they'll have a
minimized.
reward afterwards.
Exactly. You get it now.
Yes.
So that way, once in a while, there will always be kids. They want to throw tantrums, but you
In
remind them.
fact, I had a guest, she's a lawyer, and she brought her kids for my show.
Okay.
My kids were here. She brought two very active boys. When they came, they were already trained tantrum. Madam, how do I cope? I said, don't worry, they have partners in my office there. By the time they got to my office, they forgot. They didn't want to follow their mom back again. They enjoy themselves.
That's children.
So that's children for you. So coming to consumption of food during this summer holiday is something entirely different from the
Don't talk
other.
about that. In fact, you just don't have any other option than to make provisions for that while also trying to curtail it.
Okay.
So for me, what I do is it's a discussion thing because children of these days, you don't impose things on them.
Okay.
Get them to talk and then push it back to them. Like, so what are we coming out with? What are we agreeing on? They get to tell you.
So they must have a say.
They get to tell you. We usually have 2 breaks in school. Okay,
Mhm.
fine. What time? 11:30. Then the next one 2 o'clock. Okay, can we walk around that? Well, then when we're in school, we're learning, we're distracted. This time, maybe make provision for one extra.
Extra.
So you've reached an agreement, and you have to clear.
It's so interesting. Well, coming to NGOs and other stuff, I don't know if you can give parent pointer on the NGOs that are really into, this free stuff.
Okay, a handful of them. In Akure, basically, there's an organization, Kids and Teens Initiative. They deal with youths and adolescents. So for during summer times like this, they organize boot camps. They also have um, a youth-friendly environment for those who live around the area where they are. They make available snookers,
Something to keep them going.
yes, building blocks and all that for the children. Then apart from kids and teens, there are also other organizations that they might not really have that at their scope, but if they figure out that there are parents who need such assistance, they make provisions for it. Yes, they make provisions for it. And some time ago here, there used to be something like that. Yes, SA Kiddies Club. I remember I was a volunteer. So you can actually re-explore that.
Other organization could emulate.
Right. I personally enrolled my own kids and I got other people to come. So, that concept was very beautiful. Teaching children how to be public speakers at a very
and that is good.
Teaching them to get to meet VVIPs and not feel intimidated. So I so wish that would come back again.
All right. So you mentioned volunteering. Does that work in our system? How does it work? And where can they volunteer?
It does. Now I can speak about the field where I am, the development field. Now volunteers are not paid, but provisions are made for them. Allowances, like if there are trainings, fix them in, and every participant in that training gets paid. At the end of the training, they have learned some new skills, they can attach with an organization. Probably they're not very good at using the system. By the end of that internship period, they become very adept at using it. And there's something made available for them. Yes, take them to the office and back. Within that period.
What age range can go for such volunteerism?
They have to be those who are finished from secondary school or who are still in secondary school. At least. Because children younger than that, we need chaperone. We need more attention. So the organization might not really have the time or personnel to actually perform some of those. Those who are in secondary school, like from SS, those who are just reaching their SS,
for their results. So Nigeria, the economy, this summer holiday encompasses so many things. By the time summer holiday is rounding up, you see parents running around to meet the kids' need.
Yeah, prepare them for school.
Prepare them for school. Do you think we can do those flamboyant shopping anymore? The way you buy this, buy that, you're a parent, so let's rub minds.
Well,
what are the necessary things that you really need to get?
Now it depends on individuals. As much as the economy is biting hard, we still have those in that class up there.
True.
Who can afford
people much
and
more.
even more. But one thing I always try to inculcate in those people is to let some crumbs fall off their table for the others. I think I've been able to associate with a handful of them who it's not as if they don't want to do it, but it has not been brought to their subconscious. So the moment I interact with them, you see them making provisions like that. And so for those in the average class, basic things, make provisions for their books, their school fees, and then you now think about
other things.
And for those who are not really there, well, you don't have to
beat yourself,
kill yourself. The basic books you can get for the kids, try as much as you can to get. And if you can't get, look out for perhaps your neighbors or acquaintances whose children have gone past that level where your children are. You could get things like school bags, lunch bags.
Yeah, that's true.
What's it called again? Food flask, water cans. And it will be as good
as
interesting.
I was looking at my children's bag and I wanted to change it. It wasn't too bad. So I was contemplating, should they reuse it? And opportunities. There's a way you could give somebody, but when you don't know who to give.
Oh, there are lots of them. There are lots of them that need it. Like I make myself available. I always tell them to reach out. So they do reach out.
So you know the appropriate
Exactly. And they always appreciate it. They do appreciate it. So for me, when I'm preparing for my kids, when I'm preparing them for school, it's like I'm preparing two portions.
Sure. Oh, okay.
Yes, I may not really be able to make it available at once, but I just keep making it available. And I've also taught my children. So as I'm also preparing for them, they're asking me, "Mommy, what are my clothes you don't really have? Can we keep this
Train them from that
age
to give.
So that works. Even when it works.
Okay, so your NGO, an NGO
Yeah.
that's serve as a middleman between. Okay. So that's interesting. So now I would like you to advise not only the parent, the kids also during the summer holiday, how they can conduct themselves.
For the kids, remember you're being cared for by parents or a parent who is going all out to sacrifice his or her time, sweat, and money for you. So give them a word for their efforts. Choose your associates wisely. This is a period where you get exposed, you get to meet the good, the bad, the ugly. From the habit of always having open conversations with your parents. They're there to guide you. You might be too young to be able to decipher what is good for you or not as an associate. But if you come home and explain, have this accurate conversation with your parents or your parents, they will be able to guide you properly. Don't forget that sweating is allowed for you, so you have to give them a word for their efforts. And for the parents, well, no matter how difficult it seems, don't relent. You're sowing a seed for the future. And it's a promise that when you put in your best and ask people to help you and support you, at the end of the day, looking back, you're going to look at all the efforts you made and you will give a sigh of relief and say thanks to God that you did your best.
It's been a pleasure having you here. I've been able to learn myself because I'm a parent, and I hope you guys at home have been able, to take something home. Don't beat yourself too hard. If you cannot afford to do all the shopping, just do what you can. And of course, everything will get better at the end of the day. It's the gist. And my guest has been Mrs. Stella Ikoku Nathaniel. Thanks for always being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So I want you to join me same time, same station for another bumper package. Until then, I remain Fola Shade Famakiwa. Bye for now.